And welcome back to the final segment of It's Only Money with financial advisor Scott Brown of Edgewater Family Wealth and EdgewaterFamilyWealth.com. Tammy's right foot man is here with us right now. We're moving all body parts. And Scott actually gave me the secret that I told you about before we went to break. And he said, though, if I tell anybody over the air, he would have to kill me. So I can't tell you the secret. But I'll give you
sworn to secrecy.
I'll give you a hint. It was really boring. But yeah, come back. I have a personal question that I'd like to ask Scott, which is, so I'm getting married here in a few months, and I am 7 years into my relationship. And part of that is because I've had people tell me, you got to be careful. You marry the wrong partner, you can really end up really financially destitute. It could be the best in terms of taxes, but in a long-term thing, marrying the wrong person can actually have a huge cost to it. I was wondering your thoughts on that. Is that true?
Yeah, I think, well, again, if you marry the wrong person or someone with different values. First of all, let's talk about the tax thing. People tend to make decisions on investing or marriage. I mean, for crying out loud, if you're making a decision about the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with based on taxes, you might want to rethink the whole thing, right? I don't really like him that much, and his hygiene's really poor, and I don't like his mother, but the tax thing is outstanding. Yeah, let's do that. No, that's a terrible idea. But back to your larger point, I think who you marry is critical. I can't emphasize this enough. And I've seen not only for investing and saving, but career choices. My wife and I have been married now over 30 years and together 37 years. And I could not have done what I've done with my business without her support. If she had been different, if she'd have been a spendthrift and wanted a new house every year, and I would not have been able to invest in my business and get where if she was that person that needed a new watch and a fancy car and wanted to show off to her friends. She's not that person, thankfully. But if she was, I might have been under pressure to spend money on things that would not have allowed me to grow my business. So I think it is critical who you marry, and you think you can change someone, and that's a big problem for people when they get married, is they think they can change someone, whether it's their bad habits other than money, or if it's money. They think, well, once I get with them, we're really going to have a long talk, and I'm going to straighten him or her out, and that the people don't change that much. If that person needs a new car every year, they want the shiny trinket all the time, or they got to have that new house every 3 years because their brother got a new house, well, you're not changing that. So I would argue yes. Financially, who you decide to spend your life with is critical. I would say it's probably outside of children and things like that. My wife and I we argue about stupid stuff like the temperature on the thermostat, what we're having for dinner, how much salt goes on there, spices and things like, the important stuff.
Yeah. Look, if I want my blood pressure high, leave me alone.
That's right. That's my business.
It means it's working harder.
I'm well insured. It's just fine. But we don't argue about big stuff, and the big stuff is raising children. It's money. It's things like that. So, yes, it's very critical. And we know that people who are married, and I use the term married, I don't even know if that's outdated now, but people who spend their lives with a significant other that they love and care about and love and care about them back, which I know gets all touchy-feely, but the fact of the matter is those people on average are wealthier and live longer. So there is something to that, having someone in your life that can support you and also counteract your bad decisions. If you say, well, honey, we've been living in this house for 10 years and I want to double the size of our house, and in your case she says, sure, that's probably not great. But if she says, well, slow down, Ryan, let's think about this. Maybe we don't need to double the size of our house. And she gives you all the reasons why. I mean, I think it's like having any partner in business, in life. I think it's critical to pick the right one.
Now, in your line of work, you deal with a lot of married couples, I imagine. Do you find that it's more opposites attract when it comes to financial literacy? Like, it's one person do most of the bills and the other person just kind of lives through that, or is it they both come to the table as equals?
I would say it's about 50-50. I think, and I don't know if this is changing or not. I really can't. I'll have to think about over my 35-year career if this has changed. Well, I mean, I think it's fair to say 35 years ago, on average, the man was still making those decisions in a heterosexual couple's life, right? The man would come in, he made the money, he'd do the stuff, he'd talk, and now if they went home and the wife was calling the shots, I don't know, but that was more standard. Now I think it's evening out. I think men and women are sharing those responsibilities. In my house, I'm the breadwinner because my wife raised our children, but she pays the bills. I don't worry about the day-to-day stuff. So we've kind of split those duties. But people who come into my office, I think more and more they're of the same mindset, because I think what I just said is becoming more common knowledge. I still have a few that differ wildly, where one thinks they should be getting a new Cadillac all the time, and the other's like, I wish he wouldn't do that. There is some of that still, and I have to play referee sometimes. And I have had people walk literally out of my office really pissed off at each other
because they
can't get a Cadillac or they can't reach an agreement. So, but I think more and more people are going into relationships. Young people, I think in particular. My son's 27, and I've heard him talk about his friends and relationships and his own relationship. And I think they're more aware going into the relationship. It used to be, I'm in love, let's get married, I'm 18, of course I know what I want to do with the rest of my life, right? That was the way it was, and sometimes that didn't work out so well. But now I think people are waiting a little longer, they're more mature, they have a better understanding of who they are with money and who their significant other is with money before they cross the threshold in whatever fashion they do.
Yeah, that's why I'm a big believer of like separate accounts. Like I have my people. I get judged for this a lot, but what me and my fiance do is we have quick pays set up for each other for various bills that we've taken over, and then we just quick pays each other. It was like a one time to set this up, and then I have my money, which I'm bad at, and she has her money, which she's very good at, but how each one of us spend doesn't affect me overall. Like we'll have we'll have an account. I guess we do have like one account where we throw everything in for okay, we want to set this money aside, but that's about it. And it's just been awesome. But if I tell somebody who has a joint account this, they lose their mind like I am committing a horrible sin against every God imaginable, and I don't understand that. Am I living life incorrectly doing it this way?
Well, I mean, that's confirmation bias. They're judging you because now you've made them question what they did, right? And like, well, if Ryan doesn't do that, that won't make me feel it. So therefore, Ryan must do what I do, right?
Yes.
That's how people are, right? They're when people judge you like that, they're really not judging you. They're judging themselves. They're saying, I made this decision and you made a different one. I need you to make the same decision I made, right? And we never see that in society, right, Tammy? Never. So that's a thing. But yeah, I think it's antiquated to say you have to have joint account. I'm not saying you shouldn't or should, but it's an antiquated, because I have, a lot of times in my office, people are on second marriages because somebody's died, they've moved on to their next marriage, and that's almost always separate accounts. So it's working for them. It makes sense to them. And if it makes sense for you and your fiance to do it that way, and it allows you to get along better and have a better relationship because she knows whatever dumb thing you do with your money isn't going to affect her ability to eat, and vice versa.
Yes.
Then I think there's value in that. Some people would say, well, don't you trust your spouse? Well, yeah, I trust them, just not with my money, right? Or it just makes it easier for us. It's what we've done because, some people are getting married in their 30s now, right? And they've already established a life of financial habits. So to me, it makes perfect sense that you would do that. Now, if you got married at 18 and you were broke and you came up together and you're comfortable, that's okay too. So what I don't love is dogma in any way, shape, or form. I don't like it in politics. I don't like it in social life. And I certainly don't need it in money. There is no, this is the right way. It's what works for you and your significant other and gets you to the financial success you're trying to achieve without killing each other.
That makes sense. I'll have what I call, I guess, buyer's remorse or money or spending shame. So I'll spend my money and then I'll buy something like really nice every now and like so few and far between I'll actually buy something. But then I'll like just not tell her for a minute. And by like a minute could be anywhere between like a day and a week until she kind of comes across
that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she'll just look at me like, why did you tell me about this? It's like, I don't know. I've had relationships before where money was a thing, and this one isn't, and it's so nice. And then she'll rub my head and tell me everything's okay, and the bill, as long as the bills are taken care of, we can go about our day. So it's been really nice because it's stressful when you're young and you're poor.
Yeah.
You know, that like they say, it ruins a lot of marriages. It'll ruin your 19-year-old relationship.
For sure.
If you can't go out to Carrabba's.
Right.
So it is important. Now, do you believe, before we get out, I got about a minute left, but like, how do you feel like, should young people ask each other their credit scores when they're out on a date?
Probably not the first date.
But should you get to it?
Yeah, don't eat spaghetti on the first date because it's messy, and don't
Oh,
ask
I
credit.
wish I knew that so long ago.
It's always embarrassing, the slurping and the tomato sauce. But yeah, no, I don't think it needs to be a first date. And I don't even know that the credit scores. I mean, that's a thing, and yes, you should. I guess maybe it's a discussion for down the road, but. No, I would say third or fourth date, maybe you can start talking about money, but it's not necessary to do right away. Scott
Brown is a true romantic. Remember that, everybody. And if you want to work with him and Tammy, they are at Edgewater Family Wealth. The website's edgewaterfamilywealth.com. Gentlemen, it's always a pleasure and good to see you, and we will see you all again next week for more It's Only Money.
Happy Sunday.